Hello and welcome to Coffee with a Female Founder. I'm Amy Cole, your host. I'm joined by producer Matt.
Hello, Amy.
Hi, Matt.
Amy, who's this week's guest?
Emma Mills, a founder of MiPA, an EA business.
An EA.
EA, Executive Assistant.
Of course. yeah. I'd like to say I have one of those. I'd like to say I do, but I don't. But yeah, Emma's a great guest.
Oh, yeah, she's phenomenal.
Really
she's
good.
So good. I have actually been wanting to chat to her for a while. She's been on my list.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that she came into the studio.
18 years in business.
Yeah.
Really good.
I know.
A big team.
Yeah, 30 people in her team. She talked a lot about culture, which is really interesting. Because I think a lot of the people that I've had on the show so far have been kind of solo female founders or people that have maybe outsource their marketing or whatever, but not necessarily have a huge team. So it's interesting to learn about that.
What was fascinating was how long it took her to get her own PA.
I know,
That's
10 years of business. That's so funny. Yeah. No, there's so many insights into being a female founder and how to be the most efficient with your time. There was also a formula that she used to find out how much your time is actually worth, which I found really interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's quite easy for us to spend a lot of time doing things that you could pay someone to do £15 an hour when your time is actually worth £50 an hour, for example.
I think that decision of when do you start, when it's not just about when do you, it's when can you afford to, and how do you have a plan to do that, but how do you bring that extra help in rather than employing somebody? How do you bring in somebody that can work like an employee on your behalf? And that's what Emma's business is all about. So I thought that her story was really interesting in how she set up the business, why she set up the business, and like you said, the culture side of the business. I think it must work, as it's 18 years in, so she must have set up a really good culture at the company.
Exactly, and it's tripled in size in the last 5 years as well, so major growth for the business.
So definitely a lot to learn by listening to this one.
Grab a coffee, tune in.
Absolutely.
Coffee with a Female Founder is where we have honest conversations about everyday business with the women behind it. Each episode we'll chat over a coffee with a different female founder, diving into their challenges, wins, lessons learned, and the advice they wish they had when starting out. The coffee is delivered to us courtesy of vexcoffee.com, which is the UK's freshest coffee discovery club. Every month they expertly handpick 2 small independent coffee roasters for you to explore. They've been kind enough to give our listeners 25% off your first box using the code Female Founder or using the link in the show notes. Welcome to the Female Founder podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me on, Amy. I'm very pleased to be here.
At the very beginning, you started as a PA.
Yes.
And now you own a business full of PAs.
Yes.
Talk to me about that transition.
The transition is over 18 years. It's our 18th birthday this month. I can't believe it.
Congratulations.
So, yeah. Thank you very much. The transition, I did, I think, what a lot of business owners do. I really enjoyed being a PA, EA. I love the impact you make on somebody's life. I love that saying of just don't worry, leave it with me. I love I'm definitely my love language is serving people. I like to help. So with being an EA, I just really enjoyed that kind of the difference that I see that I make in somebody's life when a really high level EA is 2 steps ahead, thinking for the founder. They're protecting the founder's time and ultimately making them a happier, better business owner. I was 2008. I was 26, and I can only describe it as I really wanted to start my own business. I didn't have any particular clue what that might be. I obviously enjoyed doing this. I went to college and did a cake decorating course, and shall I do that? Shall I start to explore other things? Yeah. But around that time in 2008, the word virtual assistant was just becoming more spoken about. And actually 4 months before not that I realised this at the time, but 4 months before I handed my notice in, Tim Ferriss had written The 4-Hour Work Week. So that and I think there's a stat of from 2008, the Google search for virtual assistants skyrocketed because obviously that whole book is about living the life you want to live with assistance, boiling everything down to just things you can do in 4 hours. So, yeah, I guess I was right at the beginning of the curve of this becoming a business. So I quit my job in the summer of 2007, actually. I quit my job and was I'm just going to figure this out, which we all do because there is no manual that tells you how to run a business.
Yeah.
And the first 4 to 5 years, so like my 2012 was Emma, definitely joining BNI, going to networking events, doing all the things that just to learn. And I was very aware that I had a lot to learn. I think that has stuck out to me, that I was always very aware. I knew I had the energy to start a business and I really wanted to do it, but I knew that I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about finances. I knew nothing about price, just like all the things. And so, but I do love learning. So I've like read the book on everything. If there's a course going, sign me up to it. You know, like I've been very much I just need to figure all of this.
Everything.
Yeah. So, because I do always think that it is possible for anyone to be an entrepreneur or business owner. You need that energy and you need that passion to do it. But in terms of like learning the skills, a lot
100%.
of it's all very learnable. So yeah, like that first 4 or 5 years was Emma, self-employed, working out the back bedroom, figuring out, can this be more than just Emma? And that's another thing. I was always very aware that I wanted it to be a business. And I can only describe that as in my head of picturing like culture, team, the MiPA way of doing things, community. And then from 2012 onwards, I employed my first member of the team. Cool. And we've grown organically since then. We're around like 30 team members now in the business. And it's unusual in my industry because in my industry, most setups are self-employed virtual assistants and they'll kind of grow a network in that way of having other skill sets to tap into. But yeah, just pulling it back to like my vision. And there's many times I've questioned this mode that I went down, but now I'm like, I can see it was the right thing. I was just very passionate about the team. I pictured us going out for drinks, like the MiPA way of doing things, the pink and purple on the wall. Like I very much wanted like the community culture side of it because I don't think I kind of understood the impact of it then, but now, like the impact of that on our service, on how the team know how to look after clients. It was just, I really imagined that kind of business. That's what I wanted it to be. Wow. So yeah, so like 2012 to 2020, we had a big growth spurt. COVID was very helpful for us. Like everybody then realised, I can work virtually with people. I've never done this before, and we were all forced to. But yeah, the transition has been, I'm very glad that I picked the path that I went down of virtual assistant because I'm sure we'll talk about it more, but I think being a business owner, not to like dramatise it, but it is one of the hardest things you can possibly do. It's just it's like the crash course in personal development. You don't even believe that that's going to be what happens, but it shows up every single flaw and mindset issue and thing that you didn't realize that you had, whether it's like money scarcity or clients leaving and you're like, don't go. It shows everything up. So I'm just very passionate about the service that we provide. It really helps business owners as much as possible to just get out of the weeds, get out of the stress and drama and everything that follows being a business owner.
Wow. That's amazing. So you said that you've kind of known always that you wanted to start a business, and from early on you knew that you wanted it to be a business and grow beyond you.
Yes.
Where do you think that's come from? Has that always been in you, do you think?
Really interesting question. I was asked this the other day and I did realise that my dad had a big impact on me. So my dad had his own business. Okay. But my dad had a business that repaired heavy goods vehicles like big wagons. And I really saw my dad didn't create a business that created the life he wanted in terms of like loads of free time. Like my dad properly had to graft. And I think I remember always thinking it was very cool that my dad had his own business. Like, I just distinctly remember that. And I do think I also saw like, my dad would come home and have dinner with us and go back to work to finish a job off, and he was there till like 10. And I think I also distinctly remembered that there must be a better way that's not all-consuming in your life, because definitely when my dad had that business, it was all-consuming of his life to pay wages at the end of the month, and it was proper like in the weeds. So in terms of where it came from, definitely remember that. I definitely used to think my dad like having his own business card and letterhead, I was like, this is really cool. And like in the summer holidays, I would go and be at my dad's garage and be colouring in and like watching him do stuff. So that was definitely a big part of it. And I guess like another big influence, the last person that I worked for, in fact, both main roles that I had as an EA, they were entrepreneurs, and they were very different entrepreneurs. The last guy that I worked for, a guy called Oliver, he was just, he was a very interesting character. He was a multi-millionaire. He was like 35. He was self-made. And to get to where he'd got, you have to be a certain kind of character, which is like, you don't tolerate anything less than this is happening. However, like, if you like it or not. And what I learned from him was a lot, but it was also like everything's possible. If there's a problem, there's a way under it, over it, around it. He was very, like, tenacious was definitely his middle name. Like, if he wanted something, he was going after it. And it's interesting because when I handed my notice in, he was properly fuming about it. But I think he didn't want me to go because, like, I was a support. But I did learn from him that, I don't know, just like whatever you want to go after, whilst he might not have always had methods I would adopt to do it now, like, you can make happen what you want to happen. Those two things were definitely massive influences on my life. And the third thing I can only describe as like just a gut feeling of like I know that there's something more that I need to try is possible. And where is that going to lead for me? Do you know, like, that's just like this kind 100%. Of innate feeling that I just... Yeah, and it's weird because when I started my business, we were just about to head into like that big global meltdown in 2008. And I can't ever remember thinking that starting the business felt overwhelming. It didn't... Okay. Yeah, it didn't seem at the time like this. I was just like, it's exciting and I'm going to give it a try. And even like we went into a recession, like loads of people say, God, what a terrible time to start a business. But again, it wasn't like I was looking on the news going, oh my God, and I've just started a business. I was just going out and trying and going to the latest networking event and passing business cards and, I think I might have a new lead. And I know it just all, looking back now, it just all seemed very like, I just really want to give this a try and see what happens.
That's amazing. So how did you actually get into the PA-EA? Just for the listeners, what is the difference between PA-EA?
It's a really good question. EA, in my opinion, is someone that can almost run the business with the founder, someone who's, at MiPA, we call it like your second brain, an extension of you, someone that's going to get Amy, like, well, Amy would do it like this, she's not going to want that. Like, we can kind of make some decisions on your behalf so you're not having to carry everything. Like a real support. A PA, I would see, like a PA admin, I would see more of they're doing the thing, they know they need to do the thing, this is how they do it. They're not necessarily going, but I've done this, and what about, I'm going to do this as well. And Amy, I've already thought about that, don't you? Do you know? That's the difference for me. So how I got into that was I went to uni, didn't particularly enjoy it. I went to Manchester Uni, did a year there, was going back in the second term, and I was like, I'm just not enjoying this at all. I don't know, don't want to do it. Spoke to my mum, quit, and had no idea what to do next. Yeah, I was telling Crispin the other day, actually, I really wanted to do English literature at Manchester Uni, and I really flunked my English at A-level. I got a D. And so then they withdrew that offer and said, instead, you can do Hispanic studies, which is a really weird switch. So I did do Spanish at A-level, so it was doing Spanish and Portuguese from scratch. Wow. So that's what I did for like 18 months.
Speak any of them yet?
Portuguese, definitely not. Spanish, like I can just get by. But yeah, I just didn't really enjoy it. But it wasn't like I had this burning desire to do something else. Just like, this is not for me. Don't enjoy uni life. So I basically just... the other day, we went and visited my mum and dad, and I was saying to Joe, my partner, like, that's where the job centre used to be, and that's literally what I did when I left. I feel like job centres were so prevalent back then. You know, like a place you would go into and they'd have little cards on the wall. Makes you sound very old now, but like they'd have cards on the wall of jobs that were going. So when I quit uni, I went in there and was like, what can I do? And I got an admin job at a company in Lim. And that the lady that ran that was not a very nice employer. If you've ever had an employer, I'm sure you have, where they kind of show you everything not to do, of how to create a team, how to make people feel comfortable. Like, she was the complete opposite of everything I would want to be as a business owner.
Good learning moment.
Exactly. Did not have people, didn't make them flourish in the environment. So I was there for about 6 months, and then I got a second job, which is where that business that I went in, I started in like an admin department, and they then advertised for an EA. And I don't really know if one of the directors came to me and said, we want to get an EA to the directors. I think you should apply for it. So that's how this came about. And I did, and I got the role. And I don't think I'd even like considered being a PA or an EA before that. And that's where it started. And then in this particular role, there was 3 directors. I supported all 3 of them. And again, I've been lucky, I think, in the 2 roles that I've had, that it was proper entrepreneurial. Like, they were fast growth, they were growing. You're in the middle of everything. You're seeing all the stuff that's going wrong, the stuff that's going right, and you see the arguments in it. Like, I was very much in the mix with both businesses that I worked in. So, and I just, I did really enjoy that role of, I've got you, don't worry, let's do this. Yeah, so that's kind of where that came from. So when I left uni, it wasn't like I'm going to go and do this. It just happened.
Yeah, we were just talking before, weren't we, that you need to take everything that kind of comes your way and look where it's got you now.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, no, never in a million years did I think this would be where I am now.
It's so interesting because a lot of people that start a business almost like have a skill, a talent, a trade or whatever and go into business.
Yeah.
But I guess your skill, talent, trade was running someone's business. So you kind of have all the skills already to kind of go for it, which is quite good. Although you did say that you didn't know particularly much about marketing.
I wouldn't go that far. Skills to run a business, but I was very aware of the stuff that my bosses, directors were being, like, what I was being exposed to. And I do also think it's a blessing and a curse, this path of like being a PA, EA and starting an EA business and, you know, being an electrician, starting an electrician. It's a real blessing and a curse because you know how to do the thing. Yeah. So it becomes very difficult a lot of the time to get out of the thing, to get to that next level, to actually grow the business and become a business owner instead of being stuck in the middle of it. Yeah.
When was that moment where you kind of stepped away from doing any of that kind of work?
I'd say like 2017 was the start of it. So that's like 10 years later from starting. Like 2017, I still had my own clients. I was still delivering work. And at that point, there was probably a team of about 12 of us. So it's very hard to like have your own clients and do a one-to-one and recruit them. And why are you late today? And also at that point, I'm still like, paying wages and doing all the things. So 2017, I was a member of a mastermind. And one day in that mastermind meeting, my mentor, Nigel, just said to me, like, look, Emma, like, I think I was like, I've not achieved this. I'm feeling stuck. I'm in the weeds. And he kind of like went over my calendar, my diary. And he was just like, Emma, like, you're never going to get out of your own way here. Like, he's like, do you see how ironic it is that you have a business that provides PA support and you are doing everything yourself? Yeah. Because part of my growth had been I kept adding doers. So I kept adding people so as we would get more work, we'd add another PA and another PA. And we were growing the team in terms of service delivery. But I hadn't at that point thought strategically to think. But at some point, all of that stuff that it throws off, all of the admin, all of the stuff that happens around it, the complaints, the happy clients, who deals with that? Like it was all bottlenecking through me. Okay. So in 2017, that was when I was like, wow, that is so stupid. I need to get one of my own team now to start to become my EA and help me to get out of the weeds. I'd say it's like 2020 by the time I fully stopped doing any EA work. So it's still like a long time that I've been in. And then, this 2020, 2025, we've been very strategic. And it's no surprise the more I've got out of, like, each time I've leveled up, the business is growing more. We've got better clients joining us. Like we're charging more. Just all the good stuff has followed every single time. Like I leverage myself out of another layer of the business. Yeah.
That's so important as well. Like you literally can't do everything. There is a level where you're like, I can't do this now for it to grow.
And it is, I think for a lot of business owners, it is their modus to go, but I can just do it because like that's how you start. But there's like a transition where you go, but I do all the things in the beginning and I can make it work and I get some clients and I'm doing the billing and you like wear this superhero cape. We're like, well, I can do all the things, but then you like, so then some people just need like a shake to go, okay, you can't keep doing that if you want to grow your business or if you want to get to the next stage. So it's a hard transition, I think, in the beginning.
The Female Founder membership is officially live and I want to tell you all about it. As part of the membership, you will gain access to a variety of different courses covering business fundamentals and soft skills for women in business, along with workbooks and templates to implement all of your learning. You will also be a part of the Female Founder Community WhatsApp group, where you will find the space for the board. It's basically the board of directors that you don't have as a solo female founder, so you can go there to ask for different advice, support, and to celebrate your wins. Members also get access to exclusive offers on softwares and services for your business, along with various live events throughout the year and monthly webinars. I'm also offering the first 20 people to sign up 20% off their membership for life. Head to thefemalefounder.co.uk or click the link in the show notes to sign up for your membership. The Female Founder empowers women and elevates startups. How have you been to kind of let go? Because I'm a bit of a self-confessed control freak. I'm not sure whether I'd be able to let go that much. How have you been able to?
Yeah, it's... I wouldn't say I'm a control freak. I definitely have a vision of how I think things should be, and when that doesn't happen, I can feel it. And I do have to constantly have a conversation with myself to go, but Emma, that's good enough. Like, it doesn't matter the bit that you thought was really important. You know, just the little nuance of stuff happening. How am I think it varies. I think letting go with the stuff that I just don't like doing, like the stuff that drains you, you know, my inbox, admin, creating processes, really hate, like that drains me badly doing that. And it's interesting. I only properly realised that probably about the late, like 2018, 2019, because being a really good EA, you're systemising stuff and I know how to do it and it's really important. But I then realised, wow, it really drains my energy. So I'm very good at letting go with things that just naturally I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. This is why I'm procrastinating on it. This is why I'm only finishing half projects. And so I'm very good at that. I think maybe stuff that's like outward facing for the business, whether the way things look or are communicated. I think with communication, I think that's my strong point. So probably that is the bit where I have to constantly battle with myself to go, no, that's good enough. It's like even like we had our 18th birthday party just last week. We had a traitors evening. So my PA, my EA Bex, she's the one that organises it. And there'll be like, even when she's sending out, you know, invites to the team, and I'll have to like check myself to go, no, like don't pick Emma, don't pick like it's good. You know, so I think with communication is the bit where I have to just hold myself back and go, Emma, as long as it's like 80% good enough. If you've bought that time back and can now go and do better stuff with it, I mean, that's the goal. It's not that you've like put an extra picture there or whatever it might be on the thing.
Yeah, fair. No, so I guess you've got to be when you're a business owner, don't you? You can't not be.
Yeah, because there's nobody stood behind you going, oh no, no, look at that. Like, you have to be the final check on things, don't you?
Yeah. Highly critical. Yeah. So you talk about culture, and that's quite important for growing your business.
Yeah.
What things have you put in place to make sure that you have a good culture and a good business to work for?
Yeah, we've, this is a great question. We have learned so much about that for two particular reasons. One, because we grew quickly from 2020 to 2023. We literally went from like 10 people up to 30. Wow. And that has so many things that comes with it. Daniel, do you know Daniel Priestley? He's written a couple of books, like Key Person of Influence. He's been on Diary CEO a lot recently. But where I'm going with that is that he has this phrase, and he says that when you go from like 10 to 20 to 30 people, it's called crossing the desert. And when you go across that, like that band of people, you go from 10, where you're like a family sat around a table, and I know that you're happy and you're happy and everybody's like, what are you doing tonight? And then as the team grows, you assume everybody's still happy, but you have no real way to know that anymore. And he always says that when you get past 15 people, like people start sleeping with each other, they're arguing with each other. And the first time I ever heard him say it, I was like, nah. And I was like, oh, it does happen. And like all of this stuff then happens now because you've just multiplied the number of people. So when we grew in people quite quickly, we had to learn more about culture, because it's very hard to maintain culture when you're not all sat around the same table anymore. So in terms of, it's much easier like this. I mean, it's just easier when you're smaller, like you're a family. So when we got bigger, things that we started to do, we use a piece of software called Friday Pulse, and it is basically it's a heat map. It's every single Friday. And if anybody has got a team, even more than 5, I would recommend, because I think it's free up to 10 people. But send an email every Friday saying, how was your week at work? And people can score it 1 to 5. It's anonymous what you've scored it. And then it asks a little question, like a little fun one. And there's a place where you can put like thank yous, frustrations, ideas. But ultimately for us, and what it's really great is it gives like a little heat map about, so the people in this team have scored it low this week, they've scored it high.
Yeah.
Because we realised we had to start systematising. And that sounds weird, or it sounds like counterintuitive, but being able to just track happiness as opposed to constantly getting a feel for everybody became really important. And it was so important because I think my PA thrived so much to 2020 on the energy of the people. And that's been one of our key qualities, I would say, and it's been one of the reasons why people are attracted to work at the office. Like the MiPA way of doing things, we're always having a laugh, we're always doing something, or going out, or going to an escape room. And then when that kind of started to fall, like it was becoming unwieldy, and we realised people weren't happy, it was like, oh, we need to figure out how to do this at scale rather than just being sat around a table. But I think like from just a human point of view, one of the things that we've done really well for culture pretty consistently is just be really transparent. So we hold like a monthly meeting every month that's like 20-30 minutes. It's quite quick fire, but it's very transparent on the numbers, on profit, on where we're trying to get to.
Oh, that's really good.
Everybody's dead clear, and it doesn't matter what role you're in, everybody watches that meeting, and we all know that we're all kind of contributing to it in different ways where we're trying to get to. But I think even when we've had more challenging times, I as the leader and Matt, who's like my right-hand man, and anybody that's been in a leadership position, we've all been very transparent constantly. I think we've kept that bit going. So even when it's been like, wow, like this isn't going well, here's why, here's what we need to do. It's never been, we've been very transparent, I think, throughout most of it. And I think that's really helped us with culture as well. Yeah.
That's really good, because then you're not just a clog in the wheel, like you're actually really a part of it and can be bought into the mission and vision and values and things. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Like even when, even if we've had to let people go, we've been very vocal quickly with the team to go, just to let you know, this person's left. Like, it's not, from a perspective of just wanting to know why we've had to do that. It's not about this, like we really try and keep everybody part of the vision together, that why we've done it, and just treat them as humans, basically. Not that like, oh, you're not privy to that information. I think that's been a big part of our culture piece with it.
That's really good. That's really good. And obviously that was a conscious decision that you made. Like, do you have a kind of strategy in place to build that culture?
A strategy? Do we probably have a really high level vision as a company. How can I best articulate it? I think the more that I am myself with the business, the better it goes. So and this is why it's so important to stay out of the weeds, because when I get more stressed as a business owner, it shows in the business. And we've been working with a fractional COO over the past 12 months. Cool. And it's become very clear as we've been working with him. He's the one that first pointed it out to me. He was like, Emma, when your energy's low, everybody feels it. Like, I just need to tell you. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And then when we've made a great sale, or I come in on my energy's high, and he's like, Emma, like, they're all feeding off it. Like you are the start of the cog of, the good culture in there.
That's quite a lot of pressure to have on your shoulders, though.
Potentially. But also, I guess it's made me much more mindful of getting, getting out of like any potential weeds that I'm in. If there's something that I'm doing that is draining me, then asking the question of, well, why am I doing this? Who else could do it? And actually, like, we've done a lot of that this year. So Crispin joined us in January because we had a real barrier to getting content out. And that was like, that it'd be me like trying to put a reel together. I'm like, oh, God, this is a bit crap, or, So like, I guess every time we've had a CFO join us, because the numbers is not my lovely place to live. And I think it is a really good question from a perspective of, when my energy starts to like, what is the reason for that? Well, actually, maybe it's like a who problem, like a who thing. We need to get somebody in to then do that, free up the flow of things happening again. Yeah. And obviously, I want to go in like good energies and bring the joy. And so I do think us being ourselves and that that is like one of the questions in Friday Pulse. Do you feel free to be yourself? And we all score quite highly on that. Like we're all here to, one of our values is embrace the fun, embrace the quirks. And we're all we're all just ourselves, but we're all just kind of on a joint mission, get to where we want to go.
So you obviously take quite a lot of time to understand how your team is happy and if they're enjoying their job. How do you make sure that you're happy, and how do you protect your energy as a business owner?
That's a great question. It definitely starts with my diary.
Yes.
So when my diary is an ideal week, like how I finish a Friday is completely different. So I have a rhythm with my diary, and when we run that, so Monday is all internal meetings, like set the week off with the team, review numbers, like coaching, whatever needs to happen. Wednesdays and Fridays, I generally try and keep completely free of commitments. And it's not like this is just a day to float around. Like in it, I'll then block, I want to, I'll invite some podcast guests, I'll go to an event, or I'll do like productive things in those days, but they're days to think and be creative and do. Maybe it's like, we'll start a new marketing campaign, or I'll write some marketing emails. Having Wednesdays and Fridays free is definitely step number one for me. Great. To be, I guess the word is like decompress a little bit, like just have time to think. I think thinking time is really underestimated in a business.
Important, isn't it?
Constantly like, is my calendar packed out? Like, I think people think that's being a really good business owner, but I think actually having a bit more white space to what's the next move, that's when I come up with my ideas for content or a good podcast guest or
time to breathe.
Yeah. So I think like over the past few years, we kind of like business owners have gone backwards with, gosh, obviously we're always switched on, aren't we? We're always connected to something. We can always see a DM coming in or a message from a client, and so the more I unplug from that for at least a dedicated amount of time in my calendar, that for me then is like, this is a really good week, because I've like done the important work, but now I've got time to do the things that I want to do in my business. So that is definitely step one of how I preserve my energy. Number two has definitely been, it's quite basic, but removing a lot of stuff from my phone.
So you don't take work home with you?
Yeah, whether it's like, we use Teams internally, deleted it off. I did delete the email app off my phone the other day, because I found I was just, do you think you get in a loop of opening apps and then you just end up refreshing.
Automatically your finger goes down, you're just like ready to open it.
It's weird, isn't it? And I just, like, sometimes I'll re-download it, and then sometimes I'll get rid, but I was, just wasting time, like constantly checking and opening apps. So that is definitely a part of it as well, being mindful about what I'm doing. And most of the time, I don't know, there was nothing there to see. I don't need to do it. You're just like clogging your brain up. And then third is, I guess lots of people say it, but fitness, time to do training or something. And I find that when I have something hard booked in to train for, that really helps me as well. Because it helps me commit to training, fitness, doing so, like at the moment, training for a marathon. Cool. Do I love it? Probably don't love it, but I know that it does really help me, just from a perspective of,
there's a purpose
committing,
for it.
Committing to working out and doing it.
Amazing. So I want to talk a little bit about so our audience is early stage female founders.
Sure.
So I want to talk a little bit about how, I guess, female founders can either, if they're in a stage to get a PA/EA, or what things can they take from having a PA if they don't have the budget for it, kind of that stuff.
Totally get that, because, well, I've already admitted, like, it took me like at least 10 years to commit to getting a PA in my own business. So I totally get that. And when you're starting, and unless you've got investment money to spend on all the right roles, most people don't start like that. They just bootstrap, don't they? So I think it's really good to, because one thing that would have sped my journey up with getting help was definitely being more mindful of, okay, even if I don't have this help right now, well, definitely the drains me. What don't I enjoy doing? What, when the time comes, is the first thing that I will get rid of. So, for a lot of people, it is like inbox, like Bex looks after all my emails now. Like, that's definitely a drain for me. Even from perspective when you open it, and then you might see like a client grumble, or like your inbox can easily switch your mood or switch your energies. If you're like, oh, bad email, oh, good email. So I think like being mindful of what drains you is a really good thing to start to create a list of. Like I often call it the to-don't list, like the things that you don't really want to be doing, even if you don't have the budget right now. Like, what's that? Because when you start with a EA, whether you're employing them or whether you're going to use somebody virtual, it is really good to have a starting point to go, well, this is what's on my list to start, and what I would really love to get some help with. It's a great starting point to have.
Because I guess you don't, if you even have the budget for an EA, you might not potentially know what to give them at that point.
That is like definitely question number one. Like, well, I know an EA can help, but what can I really give them? So I think starting to be mindful of that and building up that list is really good. And then for sure, the mistake I made, I think, is twofold. It's because we could have afforded to get me an EA earlier than we did. So I was for sure stuck in, I'll just do it all. This is the way forwards. So I think the other two questions are being mindful of like all of the kind of opportunity costs. So every time you decide to do this, what are you saying no to instead? And when I look back now, I think if anybody can kind of use this and learn from it, I definitely lost out on some maybe like opportunities or periods of time where we were kind of growing. We had some momentum behind us, and I could have made more of that opportunity now looking back if I had been freer than I was in the weeds. Because then, you know, you stuck, I don't know, you're not getting back to emails, or you're not following through on the things you said you would do because you're so busy. And actually now, if I'd been in the position I'm in now where I'm like, I've got support, Bex can pick stuff up, we'd have moved faster than we did. I am definitely very mindful of that. So I think like there's always an opportunity cost. If you're choosing to do this, what are you actually saying no to? And I wish somebody had kind of maybe guided me a bit more on that like you stuck in your office, Emma, sending out the invoices, but you haven't got back to that guy about this opportunity that we've talked about. And the great thing about the virtual industry is you start off small in terms of commitment, you know, whoever it might be that you use or whatever service. That's the whole point of it, that you can just start with like 5 hours a week or a month or 10 hours, and kind of. I would definitely should have been advice that I'd like understood earlier. So I think like the opportunity cost, the things that you hate doing, and a really great formula that I'll often go through with new prospects is understanding what your true hourly rate is. So if you want to earn, say, I don't know, 150k a year, 100k per year, whatever your goals are, there's just a really great sum, which is how many weeks do I want to work this year? So when you're a founder, when you're starting out, it's a little bit different, because maybe you just like, holiday, like I'm just going for, like I'm just doing 52 weeks, whatever. I guess when you're at a stage where you're like, well, really, I would love 6 weeks holiday. So you take your number, you get your 48 weeks, and then how many hours do I want to work in those? So again, when you're at the beginning, it's like, we're just doing all the hours. But if it was like, look, ideally, I'd love to have a Friday off. You take your number that you want to earn, you divide it by the number of weeks that you want to work. You divide that by the number of hours in the week, and you boil it down to what your hourly rate is. So like, okay per year on those numbers is like £50 an hour. So then when you work through this sum, for me, it's been really helpful to go, okay, well, say my hourly rate is £50, £75, £100 an hour. Well, should I really be doing that? I could probably get somebody to do it for 15 quid an hour, 20 quid an hour, 25 quid an hour. And I can go and, I don't know, get myself on some podcasts and spread the word, or go to like an event in Manchester, to a networking event, and maybe meet some people. That's, like just properly understanding what you need to be, like how you're using that hour. I just think is a really good point. Like, when you sat at your desk doing the admin, thinking, oh, I could be using this 12 till 1 on a Wednesday to go and do something better.
That's so interesting, because I think, especially I used to own a product-based business, and when it came to costing, didn't include my time at all.
Really?
And like, it's just I think it's a really easy thing to do, but then I guess your time is so valuable. And if you don't put that into your costs, or again, like know what your actual like hourly rate or worth is, it's just, you just spend your time doing stupid stuff.
and a lot of it does then just relate back to a bit of thinking time, a bit of time being mindful of. I think on a Friday afternoon, I do like to like wrap up the week and just kind of reflect on, how my week's been and what's happened, what's gone well, what hasn't. And I do think one of the best things business owners can do is just think about, okay, the stuff that I've done in the past week, how is that? What is that? All the stuff a founder should be doing? Could I actually now get a bookkeeper, and they should really be doing that part? It's going to free me up. That's like another thing we've done this year. I was spending half a day. I was spending basically my Friday mornings doing a lot of financial admin of things that was living inside my head that only I really knew. And then at the beginning of the year, we got Rebecca, who's now our accounts assistant. And I have immediately got half a day a week back from it. And then, like you just don't do the things unless you properly think about it and go, oh, there's something better I can do here. And then I can spend that Friday recording some videos or recording a podcast.
Cool. So what are the things that EAPA can take off your plate?
The short, unhelpful answer is anything and lots of things. But I think a really good EA can take over a lot of the things that a business owner is doing. They should be able to operate on your behalf from a communication perspective. I noticed, for example, I get a lot of comments about when Bex is kind of arranging meetings, or if I'm going somewhere and she's communicating, like I'll get a lot of comments saying, oh, well, I've heard from her so much, like nothing drops. Like I knew that she's kind of gone to the nth detail with everything. And the way that she communicates definitely represents me and my PA. Yeah. So I think like from a kind of having a second like mini Amy or a mini Emma or that's like in my mindset what that should be like, that they can just represent you. And I think some people get stuck in an EA does inbox and DMs, and I don't get many emails anyway. And that is like a lot of bread and butter stuff that we do, because it's also a trigger to lots of other things that we can help with. Somebody's inbox, you can see a lot of what's going on in somebody's business. Course, so then it triggers, oh, well, I can help with this, or I can do that. And inbox, but the stuff that's going on in our office is like proper like projects that are happening, whether it's the first part of recruiting someone and sifting through CVs, or whether it's we've got quite a few property investors that we work for, like the whole flow of a property from start to finish and completions. Okay, wow. And for me, an EA is proper high level thinking. It's like, don't worry, we've got that. We can, as long as I understand where we're trying to get to, I can help you. So I think like a lot of projects and strategic, that should be normal for an EA. So I think like it probably varies slightly to founder, depending on what they are working on. And the other thing that I think people forget about is just your personal life. As your business grows or you become busier, your personal life still has an element of admin that it throws off. And what happens is a lot of people become, like, say, good at one part of their life, like being a business owner, and the other parts fall away. Whether it's like being a good partner or being a good dad or or just being a good friend and like remembering occasions and events and things. And while it sounds a bit fluffy now, we've got some clients who are running humongous businesses and we're helping them with the day-to-day, but also that, like, can you help me do the Ocado shop? Because it's not going to happen if or I'm going to be doing it on a midnight and I'll miss the slot. Wow. And while they sound quite trifling things, like they all lead back to a business owner being a good business owner, because it's like one less thing out of their head. It's like less noise. The smoother life can run as a whole. It means you can operate in the things that you do.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. If you're a female founder like me, spinning a lot of plates right now, let me make at least one of those tasks easier. I want to tell you about Xero, an accounting software designed for small businesses. I use it to keep my invoices, expenses, cash flow and reports all in one place, so I'm not guessing my numbers or losing hours to spreadsheets. The Female Founder is part of the Xero affiliate program, where you get 90% off your first 6 months. That means that you can build strong financial habits, and we can keep this podcast a free resource where you get to learn from other female founders. So click the link in the show notes to get started with Xero and claim your exclusive 90% off your first 6 months. Amazing. So to finish off and round off everything that we've spoken about, I asked the same question to everyone that's sat there. So what's one piece of advice that you would give to a brand new female founder that's just starting out?
Gosh, what's the most important? Definitely number one. And I think it's important for founders, because you're starting. Take advice from people that have walked the path you want to walk. So many times I recall going home from a mastermind event. I'd be full of ideas, really excited, and I'd ring my mum in the car on the way home. She would absolutely like, was that a good idea?
Oh, really?
But it all comes from a place of love, of like, they want you to be protected and not have risk. My mum wants me to be in cotton wool. But like, when you're a founder and when you're like starting your business and you don't necessarily have friends that are business owners, or you're trying to like find your tribe, I would say the one thing is that would have definitely propelled a few things. Take advice from people who have actually proven or done the thing that you want to do, whether it's revenue or whether it's like the following online that they've got that you want to emulate, that they've actually walked the walk with it. For me, like, who you take advice from is really key. Because also, you know, I've got mentors now that I went on a ski trip earlier, and it's all business owners, and the stuff they were talking about, just you come back going, oh my God, everything is possible. Like, some of the things that these people are doing, I think just who, you know, as they say, like, who you hang around with shapes you. Like, the 5 people you hang around with is like generally the average salary you'll take back, because that's the people that you're listening to. I think it's so key who you talk to, who you listen to, who you take advice from. Make sure it's people that have actually done the thing you want to do and can give you the advice for it.
Because I guess there's no point making the same mistake that they made. You might as well avoid it if you can and learn from them. That's great.
I think that's really important.
Great piece of advice. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thank you for having me on it. It's been lovely.
Good. Amazing. And you've got your own podcast, so give that a bit of a plug.
Thank you. Focus on the fun stuff, and it is for business owners, and it's all about, I interview a lot of founders unpicking the journey of difficult situations that they've had and how they've grown that business into either high revenue, high profits, or actually they've just created this business that is providing the life they really want. Like, you know, success is different for everybody. Yeah, really amazing founder stories on there. Focus on the fun stuff. Thank you.
Amazing. I'll put the link in the show notes as well.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.